G'day everyone. A bit over 12 months ago I released a video on this YouTube channel of my beautiful little blue-tongued lizard Satan eating some fresh yabbies. I got a lot of questions in that video. I got a lot of feedback, both positive and negative. So now I'm feeding him some fresh yabbies again, and while he's eating them I'm just going to explain a few things, including what a yabby actually is, because that was the most commonly asked question. Rightio, Satan. I can see him, he's just down the other end of the enclosure here. Look, buddy. Want these? Come and get them. Climb up there, mate. You'll see him then. See him down there, look. Rightio, here he comes. You can see him in the blurred out background. Now, one of the things that I got told the most in my last video was how cruel it is. That's cruel. I even had people, one give me some negative feedback. One woman in particular said to me, "I hope you get cancer and die." That makes me sad. It doesn't make me angry. I couldn't care less what she thinks of me. I don't know who she is. I don't even know what country she's in. But it makes me sad that one human being can wish death upon another human being on the internet like that and think that that's okay. That is quite sad. Let me explain to you that these yabbies live at the bottom of the food chain. Here in Australia, we use them for fishing bait all the time. And what we do, we put a hook through their tail and we drop them down into the water, then a fish comes and eats them. So not only do they get eaten alive by the shrimp, just like they are by my lizard, not only do they get eaten alive by the fish, just like they are by my lizard Satan, but they also get a hook put through their tail as well, and no one batters an eyelid. Around the world every day, millions and millions of little crustaceans similar to yabbies get eaten. In fact, my wife has a video of a Pacific heron, a water bird here in Australia, catching and eating live yabbies in a dam only a couple of months ago. And I'll put that in a little card at the top of the screen now, so that you can see that video and see the yabbies getting eaten. They are at the bottom of the food chain. They have no blood in them. They're an exoskeletal animal, which means that their skeleton is on the outside. They're a shellfish. They're an invertebrate, which means that they do not have a backbone. Their scientific name is Cherax destructor, and probably the most closest freshwater crustacean here in Australia to the Cherax destructor is the West Australian marron, and its scientific name is Cherax abdibus. Very similar species, but slightly bigger and with longer claws. Satan's loving his yabby. Now, a lot of people ask me, what's a yabby? I'm assuming that most of those people come from the United States. But you guys have crawdads and crawfish, crayfish as well. We have crayfish. Here in northeast Victoria in the freshwater, we have three main sorts of main sorts of crustacean. We have freshwater shrimp, which are like little tiny prawns. The next biggest one after that is the yabbies, which is what you see here, freshwater yabbies. And then we have the big Murray crayfish, or spiny freshwater crayfish, and they are huge. They dwarf these little yabbies. They're just one of many different sorts of crustaceans or shellfish around the world. There's all sorts of different prawns, lobsters, crabs, crayfish, yabbies, shrimps. Here he comes for another one. Bang. He said, "Thank you very much." A few people told me that I was going to give my lizard parasites. I'd call these people doomsayers, because in all honesty, the people that made those comments, I don't actually know whether they know where I live. I actually live in the area where the blue-tongued skinks live. I caught these yabbies today in an area where the blue-tongued skinks live naturally. Blue-tongued skinks probably don't make up a huge part of the lizard's diet, but I have no doubt that if a blue-tongued lizard out in the bush saw a yabby, it would eat it. without question of a doubt. And yabbies do cross land, more so at night under the cover of darkness, but I have seen yabbies walking across the land when dams are drying up. They'll go from one dam to another dam, or one waterway to another waterway, and if they just happen to walk past the blue-tongued skink, I am sure that they will get eaten. But they don't make up a big part of their diet. I feed Satan yabbies occasionally. In fact, this is the first time he's had yabbies for probably 12 months. He normally has a diet of banana, strawberry, mealworms. He eats heaps of mealworms, and those mealworms are no more dead than what these yabbies are when Satan chews on them. They are very much alive, just like these yabbies. Sometimes I'll throw a couple of crickets and stuff in there, and he loves crickets. They're alive as well, but nobody cares. But if you put a yabby in, the whole world gets upset. This is nature. Animals eat animals. In my other room out the back, I've got a 7-foot long black-headed python. A huge big snake found here in Australia up in the tropical section. And I tell you what, if I put that python in this enclosure with Satan, the lizard would get eaten just like he's eaten the yabbies. The lizard would get eaten by the snake. And then if I put the snake outside, a dog would probably eat it. Kookaburras here in Australia eat snakes. That's all a part of the food chain. That's what people have to understand. Now, these people that said that this is the best way to give my lizard parasites, there was quite a few comments along those lines, but not one of those people told me what parasites, why he's going to get parasites, how he's going to get the parasites, or what parasites they even are. Sometimes I think people just like to make a negative comment. And you know what? I don't care. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I tell you what does bother me. When that lady said to me, I hope you get cancer and die, just because I fed a live yabby to a lizard, I couldn't care less. Okay? I couldn't care less. But my daughter was in that video. She's not beside me today. But if she was, I wouldn't be talking about that comment, because I don't want my kids seeing some dimwit over the other side of the world telling me that they hope I die. Because that would upset my kids. I wouldn't want my father seeing that comment. If I saw a comment like, I hope you get cancer and die, directed at one of my kids, well then I'd be pretty pissed off. You need to think before you open your mouths or type your stupid words, some of you people. Look at him go. He's eating the Cherax destructor. I read a poem about the Cherax destructor once. It went like this. A spinster to ease her frustrations, as dildos tried several crustaceans. A shrimp was too limp, and her prawn was soon worn, but Cherax destructor sure fucked her. I'm really sorry, I can't reference who wrote that poem. I cannot remember. I read it in about year 8. I borrowed a book in our tech school library about yabbies, and I read that poem in there, and I don't know what impressed me more, the fact that we had a library book with that sort of language in it, or the actual poem itself. But I tell you what, guys, if my daughter was sitting beside me now, I wouldn't have said that poem. Got to admit, I'm missing my girls. They're out visiting their grandparents at the moment for Christmas. I can't wait to see them. That Satan has eaten both of them yabbies. One of these days I'll film Karma, my big black-headed python, eating his rat.